National Institute of Standards and Technology.
National Institute of Standards and Technology. So, without further delay, Dileep, thank you for being with us and tell us the whys and whats of Hinduism, if you will, please.
Thank you, Reverend. Thank you very much. Good morning, all.
Good morning.
As Reverend said, I work for the National Institute of Standards and Technology. It is your institute because you're all taxpayers. So I am your humble servant. It's one of the most premier technical institute, one of the few government organizations which are admired and looked up to by private sector. We got 3 Nobel laureates on our campus. So you should be proud of it. That's in Leesburg, Maryland, and I came from there. So good morning, and I want to thank your church and your congregation for inviting me for this talk. Can you hear me at the back? All right? Okay, no problem. I was given about 50 minutes, and we're starting a little bit late. But we will finish by 11 the latest. We'll have a few questions and answers. I'm going to see if this clicker works. Hinduism, no. Well, yeah, you will have to click it because the clicker doesn't work from here, too far. I'm sure many of you can read at least 3 of the languages. One of the things, let's take a challenge here. At the end of this session, every one of you, this is my challenge, every one of you should be familiar with the core beliefs of Hinduism, be able to articulate them and remember them. If you work with me in the next 40 minutes, you will be an expert on the core beliefs. Okay? Now, from your side, because there is a lot of stuff, I may go a little bit faster, but we'll spare some time for question and answers later. Is that okay? We're all on board? And you will learn a couple of 2 or 3 new words which will make you look like an expert on Hinduism, even to the Hindus. So the first word I want you to learn is Namaste. Say Namaste. 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 Namaste, and I'll tell you the meaning of Namaste during the presentation later on. But Namaste is our greeting for coming, going, all kinds of greetings. This is the general agenda. I don't know, many of you know, but you probably are aware that Hinduism is the 3rd largest practiced religion in the world. Number 1 is Christianity, with all its denominations put together. Number 2 is Islam, and number 3 is Hinduism. In spite of being the 3rd largest practiced religion in the world, there's a lot of misgivings, misunderstandings, and misconceptions about the Hinduism. How many of you have heard of Hinduism as curries, cows, and caste system? Right? Well, today is the day when I'm going to address some of those so that you can go back knowing really what is the philosophical truth and what are the thought processes, what are the tenets of Hinduism. Next one. This week is a major festival of Hindus called Ganesha. And many of you are familiar with this god Ganesha, which is the elephant-headed god, right? Say Ganesha. Ganesha. Yesterday was the Ganesha's festival, started day before yesterday, and there's a lot of celebrations going on even at the Hindu temple of Virginia. So if you get a chance, go there. There's a big statue of Ganesha, and there's a lot of festivities and dancing and singing and food. So very important. So in India it's celebrated. I just wanted to share that with you. Next one. Diwali is another festival which is coming up. But next one. Now, what are the myths about the Hindu Dharma? Let me see if, and this is a compilation of a number of talks where people tell me about what they understand as Hinduism. Next one. Fatalistic. Whatever is going to happen will happen. You have no control on your life. That is not Hinduism. Next one. Many gods. How many of you think that we have lots of gods? Right? Polytheistic. We get gods everywhere. Okay, the next one. Renunciation. Nothing in this world is real. Nothing is permanent, so why bother? Give it up. But that's not the message of Hinduism. Next one. Caste system. You've heard of, everybody has heard of that. Next one. And confusing. Many interpretations. You ask 10 Hindus, you will get 10 different answers of what the core beliefs are. Because many of us are not as familiar in the core tenets of Hinduism as we ought to be. And for that, I have created, my background is technical, I'm a chemical engineer, but I'm an MBA as well, so I've been in the private sector all my life. And I have developed, I have analyzed the religion, every religion, as an engineer, and I've put together as a businessman. So let me share with you my business model of a religion. And that is applicable, I started it off with Hinduism, but that's applicable to all religions. You can apply that to Christianity yourself. Okay? Next one. Okay. Couple of comments on Hinduism which differentiates it from typical Abrahamic religions. Number one, there is no one book. So it's not very prescriptive. It doesn't say, don't do this, do this. It says, if you do this, this is going to happen. You are a big boy, a big girl, you decide. So it's not prescriptive, it is very realizing, individualistic. There is no differentiation between spirituality and physical sciences. Most of our saints were a combination of both. Who has heard of yoga? Yoga everybody has heard of. Patanjali, Rishi Patanjali was the saint who actually put together in a good format, follow a good format, the whole yoga, the science of yoga. But he was also a physical scientist. He was a mathematician. He was a doctor. So all of our saints were spiritual as well as physical scientists. There are spiritual scientists and physical scientists. So our practices and everything is all combined. There is no differentiation between what is today's life and what is spirituality. Physical and spiritual world, there is no differentiation in Hinduism. They are all mixed up together. Next one. This is the next one. Okay. This is the model of a typical religion. And you can apply in your own mind to all the religions. You will be talking about a lot of religions, and you have your own belief system. The outer layer of the thing, every religion comprises of rituals, rites, festivals, practices. And just for combination, the basic tenets, my tenets is I respect all religions and I have a lot of respect for all of the religions and denominations of the religion. So when I take comparison, it is simply to drive home the point for comparison. For example, in the rituals, rites, festivals, practices, Christianity has baptism. Just because somebody is not baptized doesn't mean that he is not a Christian. Okay? So that is an important part of some denominations, but it is not essential. It is not the core. Then comes the values. Values are, I'm summarizing this because of lack of time. Values are how you live in a society. Go to the next level. Next. 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 Values, I have identified, there are about 25 values mentioned in our holy books. But I have just extracted 7 of them just for simplicity. You look at the values, truth, purity, self-control, non-violence, charity. Tell me one great religion of the world who does not promote these values. There is not a single religion that says go and lie, go kill your neighbor, be dirty. So all religions essentially teach the same values because values is how you live in a society. And all religions are intended, when they started, to propagate peace and that all religions, the basic core tenets are the same. So go to the next one. Next one. Okay. Goals in life. The next layer comes goals in life. For instance, in Christianity, what is the goal in life? You surrender to Christ so that you can go to heaven. Right? In simple terms. So in Hinduism, there are goals in life which are, next one, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going until the end of the slide. One more. That's good. Dharma, Artha, Moksha, Kama. Dharma is the operating principle. Just like every computer has an operating principle, operating platform. Dharma is our operating principle. Dharma has many meanings in Sanskrit. But the key ones which are relevant to our daily life is social consciousness, righteousness, duty based on your role in life. We all have a duty as a father, as a mother, as a sister, as a part of the society, as a part of the congregation. That is our dharma. So that role is one of them. As long as you operate by dharma, as long as you fulfill those duties, as long as you live ethically, righteousness and socially consciously, then accumulating wealth is a fair wall. Having fun in life is a fair wall according to Hinduism. Who has heard of the word Kama or Kama Sutra? Yeah, there are a few hands. And then when they raise the hand, there is a little smile on their face. Because they know what it is. So Hindus are so integrated in spirituality and physicality that even physical pleasure, we have made it into a science. So we can enjoy it to the maximum. As long as you operate by dharma. So dharma is the operating principle. Once you do by dharma, then you are accumulating wealth, being wealthy is fine, it's a fair wall, as long as you haven't done it unethically, and having good time, satiating your senses, good food, good wine, good music, good sense of touch, all of those are fair wall, as long as you live by them. And the ultimate goal is moksha, which is the liberation, which is like going to heaven in Christian terms, but I'll get into that a little bit more. Okay, the next one. So the goals in life, you will see that they are a little different now. Until the values, they were all the same in most religions. But then when it comes to goals in life, slight difference starts emanating. And then comes the core beliefs. This is where every religion has unique core beliefs. Again, I'm not saying right, wrong, or indifferent, but you need to understand the differences. The next one, and these are the foundations of a religion. What is the core belief of Christianity? Jesus was the Son of God. And you believe and surrender to Jesus, you can go to heaven. This is the core belief. This was believed 1,000 years ago. This is believed today. This will continue to be believed. Right? Similarly, there are core beliefs in Hinduism, which are there thousands of years ago, which are there today and which will continue. And that is what I'm going to share with you. And that is what the 7 stars is all about. Because once you know that, the rest is a little bit peripheral. Whether you celebrate Diwali or not is up to you. It's optional. But these core beliefs define the religion. Now, Hinduism was not called Hinduism because unlike most of the Abrahamic religions, and Abrahamic religions are Judaism, Christianity, Islam. Unlike these religions where there was a founder, initiator, Hinduism is called Sanatan religion. That's the correct word, Sanatan. Sanatan means one which does not have a beginning, nor an end, infinite, because we don't have a founder. It's the collective intelligence of realized souls, whom we call rishis. Collective intelligence of realized science, spiritual and physical science. These are the rishis. And what they have written together, that has become Hinduism. And the Westerners came and they said, okay, this religion or this practice, which is being practiced in the near the river Indus, which was called Hindu in Persian. Let's call that Hinduism. And that's how the term came about. But it is commonly used, so for the common usage, Hinduism is a favorite. There are 4 core beliefs, and then there are 3 ways you can get liberated. Okay? And once in a while, for demonstration purposes, I'll compare Hinduism with Abrahamic religions, which you know what those are, and how the differences are and what similarities are. Now, there are 3 other religions which are of the Sanatan family, which are Buddhism. I don't know whether you had that lecture or you will have one. Gautam Buddha was a Hindu, came out of Hinduism. And many of the beliefs are similar. Jainism, which is another faith, and Sikhism. You see people with the beard and the turban. There are 6. And they also came out of Hinduism. So there is a lot of commonality between these 3 religions, these 4 religions. And Hinduism being the original mother of these Sanatan group of religions. Just like in Abrahamic religions, Judaism is the mother of that family of religions. Okay, let's go next one. Next one. Okay, so what is the first star? First star is, okay, by the way, why am I calling these stars? There is no such thing as stars in our literature, Hindu literature. This is all put together, this thing. Because it's very complicated, very complex literature. I've extracted the core beliefs and packaged them, and then I said, what do I call them? So unlike many of the other religions which are prescriptive, you should do this, you should not do this, you should do this, Hinduism does not prescribe anything. So just like it allows you to interpret and decide what you want to do. So I thought that just as the navigators in the old days used to use the 7 stars of the Ursa Major constellation to find out what is north, and then they navigated their ships accordingly. Similarly, these 7 stars allows Hindus to navigate themselves through life to the destination that they have chosen to do. If they want to follow, it's there. If they don't want to follow and chase their own tail, that's their choice. And that's why I call them stars rather than commandments or steps or pillars or anything else. Because these are stars, these are guiding principles. Alright. First star, one God. Hinduism believes in one universal consciousness, which is called Brahman. Say Brahman. This is different than Brahmin, which is a caste. So remember, Brahman, when you say with the N at the back, Brahman, that means universal consciousness. What is, and this Brahman is universal consciousness, it's all over the universe, and it is applicable, we believe, it's applicable to every one of us. It's also called Satchitanand, or the eternal truth, infinite intellect, and infinite bliss. And this is Brahman. You may call it God. And it is non-judgmental. It does not favor or punishes you. It exists. I'll give you an example. Take gravity. Is gravity good or bad? Can you pray to gravity and hope that you won't hurt yourself? You can't. Gravity exists. Whether you like it or not, whether you believe it or not, it exists. If I jump off this building, I'll break my leg. And gravity was doing that to me. Whereas if I was skydiving here and jump off the plane, I'll have a beautiful experience. Gravity was fantastic. So gravity exists. It is neither favors me nor punishes me. It is my action. It's my interaction with the gravity which fetches favorable or unfavorable results. Right? Similarly, we believe this universal consciousness exists, and it is your karma or action which fetches favorable or unfavorable results. So I tell the kids, you cannot pray to Ganesha or a statue and hope to get A+ in the next day's exam. For that you don't study. You pray to get your own peace of mind, to get some psychological strength that somebody is looking after you. But you don't pray to get favors. It exists. Now, what are all these deities I just mentioned about Ganesha? You've heard of Rama, you've heard of Krishna, on all of these deities. They are deities, they are what we call Ishvara. That means it is very difficult for us who have been born and raised in physical limits, world of physical limits. Ever since we are born, we are in the world of physical limits. It's very difficult for us to focus on a very abstract concept like a Brahman, which does not have a form, shape, properties, and consciousness. So we are the ones who need something to focus on, and that is how the Ishvaras have come about. So all these deities that we have in our literature, they are a representation of the Brahman. They are we call it manifestations of the Brahman. So there is only one Brahman, but these are all various manifestations of the Brahman. And that's why there are so many deities. Next one. Next one. Next one. Okay. Next one. Okay, that's it. So what is the Trinity in Hinduism? Because you belong to the Christian faith, I'm going to relate the Trinity part. There is only one Brahman, but we believe that there are three distinct manifestations. There is a Brahma, which is a creator, there is a Vishnu, which is a sustainer, and there is a Shiva, which is a transformer. Because Hinduism believes in the cyclical nature of the world. We born, we live, we die, we born again, and we go through this cycle. I'll tell you how we break the cycle. So the three key deities Hindus have is Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh. And the beauty of it is every one of them have a consort, which is the lady deity, and Saraswati, Lakshmi, and Parvati. And everything what you see in the temples are one or the other facets of these three deities. And the ladies would be happy to know that the power is maintained by the female deities. Men, folks, does that sound familiar? I've been married for 30 years. And there's a lot of rich mythology about these things, but let's move on. So, if somebody says Hinduism is a polytheistic religion, say that no, it is monoistic religion. In fact, there is only one universal consciousness, but it is representation, or its manifestations are in very many deities, and that's why it appears to be polytheistic. Next one. Next one. Om. Who's heard the word Om? Om is another term for Brahman. Om. Let's say Om. Om. I'm telling you that Om has such a beautiful impact that first thing in the morning, before you're getting out of the bed, when you wake up, if you say about, this lady said, yeah, if you say it about 3 times, concentrate and let it vibrate, resonate inside your Om, as long as you can take the breath, you will feel refreshed. It has nothing to do with Hinduism because this is the primordial sound, and this is represented, Brahman is represented by this. So, Om is another term for Brahman, and that's why all our prayers start with Om. So when we pray to Ganesha, you saw the deity of Ganesha, we say Om Ganesha Namaha. Brahman, I pray to you in the form of Ganesha. Om Krishnaya Namaha. Brahman, I pray to you in the form of Krishna. Because I cannot say Brahman. Next one, it's called Shabda Brahma or Nada Brahma. Shabda is a word and Nada is the sound. Okay. So what is the takeaway? There's only one God, and we believe for all humanity, in fact for all universe, there's only one God, which is universal consciousness, which is Brahman or Om. You may call different religions call it by different names. And Brahman is universal and eternal, so respect all religions. So a Hindu will respect all religions because we believe that the Brahman is the same for all religions. Universal consciousness. Next one. Next one. Next one. Second, I gotta keep an eye on the watch. How am I doing, Rapid?
You're doing great.
Okay. Second, Atman Brahman non-duality. This is a very important concept. This is where Hinduism moves away from the Abrahamic religions. consciousness. Part of that resides in all of us. And we call that Atman. So say Atman. Atman. Atman is a part of Brahman. So ladies and gentlemen, a little bit of God resides in all of you and all of me. And it is part of the same Brahman, which is universal consciousness, resides in me. We can call it self or soul. And we believe that we comprise of a body and a soul. The body is this, and the soul is what cannot be shown, what cannot be seen. And when I die, the body dies, but the soul remains, because it's indestructible, because it's a part of universal consciousness. So that non-duality exists. Now namaste, when we did namaste, I say that I bow to the divinity in you. And the response is, you say namaste, you bow to the divinity in me. What a fantastic concept. If we start believing and if we start treating each other as though they are divine somewhere, there won't be any problems in the world. There was a preacher in one of the Baptist churches in Atlanta. One day on Sunday morning, he asked everybody to get up and say, stand up and turn around and say to your neighbor, namaste. And all these people are saying namaste. He said, do you understand what it is? So they said, no. Then he explained what it means. And he said, if we start treating each other like that, there was a lot of, it was in Chicago, downtown Chicago. So he was saying, we won't have the kind of problems we have in our city if we start treating people like that. So that is what namaste is. So it's a great greeting. My namaste, I bow to the divinity inside. The next one, please. Next one. So the second star, Atman, non-duality between Atman and Brahman. It is also called by a word called Advaita. Say Advaita, that's a difficult one. So non-duality. So divinity resides in you. What does that tell you though? You are, since God resides in you, if you want to call universal consciousness divinity, God resides in you, so I tell the young people, you are capable of doing anything. Because God is capable of doing everything. But it ain't going to happen just like that. You got to put in effort. Nothing is going to come. So if you put in the effort, you are capable, you have tremendous potential, you've got to have faith in yourself, and remember that the same God resides in others too. So respect people, treat people with respect. Next one. Next one. Next one. Okay. Now we go one step further. Some religions do believe that there is divinity inside everybody, right? We go one step further. And we say this God, this universal consciousness is not only in human beings, but it is in animals, it is in plants, it is everywhere. At a different level of evolution, at a different level of maturity. And we are in that cycle, in that ladder, we are at the highest level of maturity. So we have that responsibility to look after our less fortunate brothers and sisters, which are the plants and the animals. So we are the custodians of this earth, because universal consciousness, Brahman, pervades in everybody, and through that we are all connected. There is a famous sentence called Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. That means the whole universe is one big family, and Hinduism believes sincerely in that. That's why you will see some of our festivals, the ladies and the men, they go and worship the plants. People may say, how naive are these people? They worship the plants. No, they are worshipping the divinity in that plant. They have this sense that we need to protect the plants. We need to protect that. That doesn't mean that tomorrow you turn vegetarian, but you don't kill animals willy-nilly. There are other reasons why you turn vegetarian, not necessarily for this. So universal consciousness, universality of soul. That is the third. So we said one God, non-duality, that is Atman, Brahman, non-duality, and universality of soul. Next one. Next one. My son introduced that picture. So what is the key? Be sensitive to all. Respect nature. Respecting nature is embedded in Hinduism. Environmental awareness of paramount importance, and we are the custodians of earth. If everybody believed that all the time, we would not be rating the earth like we have done. We won't have the climate problems which we are facing today. Next one. Next one. And I'm a chemical engineer. This is the law of karma. This is completely different than the Abrahamic religions. Law of karma says essentially you reap as you sow, which is very much there in the Bible. But it also says that my soul is indestructible because it's a part of universal consciousness. So when I die, my body dies, what happens to that soul? That soul takes a rebirth. And that is what is called reincarnation. And it continues to take rebirth until such time that my soul is cleaned up of all its blemishes through my actions. So our actions, if I am serving the people properly, I am doing a lot of good things for the society, I am cleansing my soul. And as I cleanse my soul, at some point in time in the cycle of birth and rebirth, my soul becomes as clean as the universal consciousness. In which case it becomes merges with the divinity, which is universal consciousness, and then does not take a birth again. And that is the cycle of samsara, it is called. We're getting into too many details, but the fact is that this is what our religion tells you, that I'm going to be born again. I will be born, my soul will be born in a different circumstances. I have done a lot of good things, my soul will be born in favorable circumstances. If I have not been good to people, then my soul will be born in unfavorable circumstances. And we also believe that it is possible that if you act like an animal, you may be born as an animal next life. So, that is the law of karma, law of reincarnation. You can talk about that. There are 3 types of karma. A lot of these karmas are within your control, but we'll save that for another time. Let's move on. Now, so accept who you are, because you all are here in extremely favorable circumstances, because this is our belief, because in the last life, whatever your physicality was, your soul did very good things. So you are born as human beings. In fact, Hinduism believes that it takes a lot of effort, a good effort, to be born as a human being in the cycle of upgrading yourself from an ant to a bird to a whatever. And you know what? What is interesting is it is only the human beings who have the ability to choose. It is called viveka in Sanskrit. And that is the power given to you because of your maturity and movement in that cycle of birth and rebirth. A lion will not kill a goat if he is full. Okay? And he'll kill a goat, eat what he wants, walk away. It is only the humans who say, oh, I want this and more for my son and my grandson and my great-grandson. Or it is also the humans who have the good ability to share. I have one piece of bread, but if I find somebody else hungry, I might split it in half and share it. The lion will not share until he is full. Right? So, we have that ability to choose. Choose to do good things, choose to do not so good things. And we need to use that judiciously. And that is what the message is. Okay, next one. Next one. Okay. Keep going. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Bas. Moksha is liberation. That means you cut this cycle of birth, rebirth. So how do you do that? You do that by living well and doing certain things. There are various paths to that. In many of the religions, there is a one path which you believe in. You surrender to Jesus and then you go to heaven. In Hinduism, it says that you can go by the path of action, which is called karma yoga, path of devotion to a deity, or path of see all these hermits who go on to the Himalayas and pray and do meditation and things like they are following the path of knowledge. So there are different paths you can follow to reach the same goal of liberation from this cycle of birth and rebirth. And you don't have to follow one path, you can create, customize your own path. That's the beauty of Hinduism. You may be more inclined towards devotion, you can have devotion more in your path, little bit of service, which is karma, little bit of knowledge, which is reading scriptures. He may be more into action. They never go to the temple, but he's serving the people. Or she may be all intellectual. So it is up to you how you mix and match, depending upon your disposition, depending upon circumstances. So you can choose and create your own path. These are the three paths to moksha or liberation. One is path of intellect, path of action, and path of devotion. Devotion, action, and intellect, and a combination thereof.
Dileep,
Yeah.
let me suggest that
5 minutes over.
you have about 5 minutes. You
Yeah.
can take questions. There are some parents who may get up and leave in the middle of this. We'll go to about 5 minutes after 11, so that we have time for
Okay, what time is it now?
56.
5 to 11? Okay, 5 minutes we'll wrap it up. So these three paths to moksha. The next one, okay, you are not limited to one. You can create a path for yourself depending on the combination I mentioned about. Next one. So what are the 7 stars of Hinduism? I told you 3 paths and 4 basic beliefs. How many of you remember all this? Well, I took the challenge, right? I'm not going to fail. So let's do this. Say with me one by one. Brahman, one Brahman. Advaita, non-duality. Universality of soul. Law of karma. Path of intellect. Path of devotion. And path of action. Look at it one more time and then next one. How many of you now remember all 7? Not a single hand. Okay, alright. Here is a clue because this is the best way to remember these things. Now keep going fast. Brahman, one God. Advaita, non-duality. Atman, Brahman, non-duality. Universality of soul. Law of karma. Path of intellect, path of devotion, path of action. A for Advaita, which is Atman, Brahman, non-duality. S for universality of soul. K for karma. What does that spell? Ask. Ask God. I for intellect, D for devotion, and A for action. What does that spell? So what does the whole thing spell? Ask God idea. The next one, quick. Let's finish it. Alright, which one? Oh, wait. Which one is this start? A. Atman, Brahman, non-duality. S. Soul. A. Karma. Intellect, devotion. Intellect, devotion, action. Idea. Ask God idea. Next one. Now how many of you can remember the 7? Ask God idea. So to summarize, one universal consciousness, universal brotherhood, environmentalism, self-determination, custodians of, you are the custodians of earth, and respect multiple approaches because the universal consciousness is applicable to everyone. Next one. So that concludes the 7 stars, and I'm very modest too. This is the best book I've read.